Priti Patel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and can I say that it is a delight at long last, having sat in the shadow of so many excellent maiden speeches over the past 2.5 months, to now have had this opportunity to make my debut, my maiden speech, in this august House of Commons as a new Member of Parliament. I'd also like to add, Mr. Speaker, that I am conscious of the significance and importance of today's adjournment debate to all our colleagues in the Chamber. So I'm really grateful to have not just your indulgence, but the indulgence of the House and all colleagues this afternoon as I make my debut. Now, it brings me genuine joy, Mr. Speaker, to pay tribute to my 4 predecessors, as thanks to the creativity of the Boundary Commission, the new and unique Witham constituency comprises of 3 very distinct areas of the county of Essex and was represented in the previous Parliament by 4 most distinguished members of Parliament. And I did forewarn them that I'd be making my debut, and I think they felt that I might make them blush, hence their absence probably right now. But I first of all pay tribute to my honourable friend, the member for Braintree. He has served the town of Witham, from which my constituency takes its name, and many of the surrounding communities, with tremendous distinction and care. I also pay a personal tribute to the outstanding member for Harwich and North Essex. Not only has the honourable member bequeathed me some of the most beautiful swathes of the Essex countryside, but he has served those parts of my constituency with enormous distinction and in a way that has won him many friends in the area locally. It is also an honour and a tribute to pay, tribute to my honourable friend, the member for Malden. Mr. Speaker, I had at one stage been considered as somewhat right of the political centre. That was until I inherited some of the member for Malden's local Conservative Party activists. My honourable friend is nothing short of a colossus locally, whose advice and opinions are greatly sought. He has represented the local areas that now fall into my constituency with great gusto, with forthright views and with conviction, which, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to emulating. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, I would like to pay a most sincere tribute to the gentleman, the honourable gentleman, and my coalition colleague, the member for Colchester. He has quite rightly developed a reputation as an assiduous constituency member of Parliament, and I'm aware that the area that I have inherited from him, the ward of Stanway, has come to expect a first-class service from their Member of Parliament. And, Mr. Speaker, I intend to keep it that way. As I said earlier, my constituency is a new one. Standing at over 130 square miles, it covers areas from the districts of Braintree, from Malden, and from the borough of Colchester. In previous guises, the constituency has also in part been represented by a number of our most distinguished parliamentarians. The 2 most notable were Lord Newton of Braintree and Lord Wakeham. Speaking personally, Mr. Speaker, I cannot pay tribute enough to Lord Newton of Braintree, who wherever I go within my constituency is spoken of with such genuine warmth, affection and sincerity for his years of public service and dedication to what was then the Braintree constituency. Mr. Speaker, it is fair to say that I have a truly tremendous local legacy to follow. At the heart of my new constituency is the historic market town of Witham, a town which is surrounded by a significant number of villages and hamlets. Witham's history and buildings date as far back to the Domesday Book, and the town is well known for its wealth of 16th century timber-framed buildings, for its distinctive town hall, and now for the more modern developments that define the town of Witham. My constituency is also home to well over 40 villages and hamlets, including Hatfield Peveril, Coggleshaw, Wickham Bishops, Kelvedon, the Knockleys, Woodham, Totham, Markstay and Tollesbury, and the village of Tiptree. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I would like to think that honourable members have already familiarised themselves with Tiptree's most famous produce while having their morning tea and toast, as the village is home to the orchards and the factory producing the world-famous Wilkin & Sons Tiptree jam. Mr. Speaker, Witham is also a constituency where small businesses, enterprise and traditional high streets matter. Local entrepreneurs and businesses support 83% of jobs in Witham, compared to the national average of 68%, and 25,000 people and their families depend upon the prosperity of these businesses. These businesses, in my view, and they tell me, need a fair and flexible labour market and a competitive and low-tax framework to provide jobs and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, my own deep and personal interest in what I call the economics of enterprise and small business stems from my own family background. My parents arrived to Britain from Uganda with literally nothing, and like the thousands of British Asians, and also the many Patels, who arrived in Britain under similar circumstances at that time, they relentlessly pursued the path of pure hard work in order to get on in life. Through working long hours and by saving their hard-earned money, my parents went on to buy their first business. What else, Mr. Speaker? But a newsagent's. This meant that my youth was quite literally spent sleeping above the shop and playing directly under the till while watching my family, thanks to the free market policies of Margaret Thatcher, thrive and grow. Wherever they set up shop, they employed local people, contributed to the local community, and made a substantial contribution to the local economy. Mr. Speaker, I speak from personal experience when I say that the impact of the last government's policies towards enterprise and small business was simply devastating. I saw at first hand the ever-growing burdens of the state encroach upon our livelihood and sap away our ability to function as a business, let alone to support our local community by providing employment and much-valued local services. This excessive regulation from central government stifled every ounce of the very entrepreneurial flair that once led Napoleon to describe our great country as a nation of shopkeepers. Now, Mr. Speaker, I would like to think that the Witham constituency is a hotbed of Patels, but alas, not yet. Nonetheless, I am proud to represent a constituency of entrepreneurs whose businesses create jobs and prosperity across our high street villages and towns. The Witham constituency is a place where the unique and unyielding ingenuity of the British people to create opportunities and prosperity are found in abundance. Nowhere is our reputation as a nation of shopkeepers and free market entrepreneurs more apparent than in Witham, and while I am a member of this House, I will stand by the businesses that my constituents depend upon, and which of course make my constituency such a dynamic place to represent. I believe that our country is at its strongest when it promotes a spirit of enterprise, the values of hope and aspiration, the desire to get on in life, which is why I'm certain that this government's priority of lower corporation tax, providing incentives for small business, abolishing Labour's tax on jobs, and ending the overzealous bureaucracy that has strangled our small businesses will once again enable this country to flourish. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful to you and to the House this afternoon for enabling me to make my maiden speech. My greatest thanks goes to the good-natured and hard-working people of Witham for electing me, and I pledge that I will never shy away from representing them and for being a strong voice for them in this House.
Yeah. David Crosby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to say